Okay, John Brackney.
Yeah, thanks, John. I am absolutely thrilled to be here. I appreciate your time. I'm going to learn something from you as well. President of the South Metro Denver Chamber, 1,600 strong, representing 100,000 employees, almost a $2 million organization, been around since 1921. And what I'd like to chat about today is exactly your point earlier about entrepreneurs and startups. And I hope to be controversial, actually. So if you argue with me, that is very, very welcome. It's an art, not a science. I hope to give you three main themes. So what I observe, because I'm privileged enough to be chatting with small business owners and very large companies all day long, professionally, 80 hours a week for the past 5 years. And there's some trends I've observed. And some, yes, some are from books, but a lot of it is individual, human being, people skill stuff. First, courage, just plain raw courage. And I'm telling you, if you don't have that courage, you're not a startup. And that's the leap that everyone needs to make. And it's the difference between successful startups and non-successful ones, period. I can assure you, if you're a real entrepreneur, and by the way, I don't think they're too far apart. If you're a real entrepreneur in a startup and this is going to be your business, you don't care what I think. And you don't care what your spouse thinks, and you don't care what your CPA thinks, and you don't care what your lawyer thinks, and you don't care what your potential customers think either. And I know that sounds controversial. I see it vividly. You are in business and you're doing what you love, period, and you're going to make it succeed. That raw just plunge that no matter what happens in the world economy, no matter what competitors pop up, no matter what your wife or husband compliments or criticizes, you are going to succeed. It is just pure raw courage. If you're politically accurate, the famous quote is, "The world makes way for the man who knows where they're going." If you want to be politically correct, to the person who knows where they're going. I see it all the time. If you've read Malcolm Gladwell's book, Blink, it is a fact. People, everyone, your boss, your employees, your neighbors, your spouse, your customers, your prospects, they can sense fear. Not everyone. We always get sold well. We always get sold well, but everyone can just sense whether you know what you're doing or not. If you're a good architect, and you decide to be an architectural firm and it's your company, you're going to make it go. It's almost on attitude. It is just going to happen should you choose to make it happen. If you're still thinking about it, if you become a consultant, you're going to still be thinking about it being a consultant for the rest of your life. Until that switch, it's literally a switch. You can see it with massive companies here in Colorado. We have some founders that live here in Colorado that started their companies, that have worldwide employees, and every single penny of it's their dollar, and we have struggling business people all over the place. In this economy, I should address it. I want to encourage everyone to start up a business. I think it is vital. It's the strength of America, that creativity and that innovativeness, the entrepreneurial spirit. It is what makes us great, and always will be. I'll go back to China if I have time. But courage. Second, well, let's see, where do I want? I wrapped in second into third. Sorry, John, not to be articulate for our viewers. Cool. Let me tell you a personal experience. When I ran for office with 500,000 people in Arapahoe County, I was a young man, had very limited experience in politics. But when I decided to make that plunge, it didn't matter who my competition was. I was running against the party chair. I was running against a full-bird military colonel, first graduating class of one of the academies. I was running against a lawyer, a former head, another one, former Western head of the FBI. I did not care. I was absolutely relentless. I was going to win that race. And if you choose to distinguish yourself based off your competition, so to speak, and you continue to nuance how you are versus how they are, you'll end up spending a lot of time in research and planning and writing, which is another major theme. Entrepreneurs do something, and here's the something. They sell something. Nothing happens till something gets sold, which is a very famous quote. It is another distinguishing mark of an entrepreneur. Nothing happens till something gets sold. That should probably be your leaping point. If somebody wants your product or your service, and they pay you money for it, not a trade, they go, "I want that, how much is it?" and you better just make up a number. And hopefully it's rational, and they buy it, boom, you are now a startup. Until you sell that first product, you're a thinker. And there's nothing wrong with thinkers and planners and creativity. It's great. Continue to do that. Just realize you're not a business person yet. As soon as somebody pays you, you're now a business person. Then you have a little bit of capital to join a chamber or to hire a lawyer or a CPA. The rest of it's just thinking. Nothing's wrong with thinking. I support it. Nothing happens until something gets sold, outrageous courage, and then the third, and John addresses this a lot. There is a real common area that defines entrepreneurs, startups. They surround themselves with other successful people. It can even be in the same industry. It can be the best in their neighborhood. It can be the best in a profession. But that entrepreneurial spirit fosters intentional design to do well. And Colorado's known for this. We're one of the top states for being entrepreneurial and having startups. And we should foster it and even get better. But if you want to know what's going on in the clean tech space in America, it's really simple. Fly into San Francisco or San Jose and just go to the books, talk about it. I've been there 3 times in the last year. It's true. It just reeks out of everywhere. Every coffee store, every walking along the street, they have that spirit that they're going to get things done. They're going to create that new product. They're going to invent the next wheel, and it feeds off of each other. And so if you have the courage, then should you sell something, third is surround yourself with other people that have been there, done that, want to do it, are doing it, and feed off each other. Support them and mentor them, encourage them, brainstorm with them, critique them. It is very, very difficult to be an entrepreneur or a business startup in isolation. They have the ability to do it. They have the courage. That actually has to come within. You have to sell it probably yourself because no one's going to work for you. You can't hire a salesperson and say, great, what's your gross revenue? 0. Well, I'm not working. How do you pay them? You have to be the first salesperson. Cool. Once you do those 2 things, then in order to have long-term sustainability, you surround yourself with other great things. Other great people, other products. You brag about them, they brag about you, and together you build a really vibrant, healthy economy. If you want to be a business, another key consideration is when can you afford to pay someone, and when can you afford to make that payroll. You can be a good individual sole proprietor, nothing wrong with it, but if you make that leap into the full-term business, you've got to have enough credibility, enough consistency and the same thing applies with the bank loan, by the way. I can brainstorm with you on tremendous advice, because I do this for a living, the banker can sense it. If you don't have that courage, if you haven't sold something, and if you're not surrounded with greatness, you don't even have to go into the bank. You don't have to go to the law firm because you can't afford to hire them. Everything rolls off those 3 principles. And as long as you accomplish each of those 3, the world's your oyster. Go out and do amazing things. And you must continue the art of creative destruction. You come up with the model, but then you must immediately start tearing down the model and building it again to make it better and better, because if it's a really good idea, some other entrepreneurs right on your heels and is going to take it away from you. So you must create, destroy, create, destroy, create, destroy. In other words, you've got to have courage every single day. You've got to have the confidence to say I'm a business person. You've got to be surrounding yourself with greatness. If you do that, everything else follows. Your product and service is not as important as those 3 items. I didn't care that other people had more competence, more experience. I was going to win. And that can-do positive attitude distinguishes itself from startup businesses to all the failures out there. And by the way, failures aren't a worry. Because everybody fails all the time. Who cares? Continue to fail because it's part of the process.
Okay.